Hey, my name's Mikey Inman, and I'm going to be teaching you how to cook during this quarantine for our online Camporee. Before we start doing any cooking, we're going to want to wash our hands. Now that we've washed our hands, we can get to the ingredients. We have our steaks, mushrooms, bell peppers, bacon, and onions. And for our seasonings, we're going to be using adobo without pepper, some cumin, or paprika, sorry, and oregano. And to oil the pan, we're going to be using a little bit of olive oil. First, we need to cut our vegetables. So I only used a little bit of the bell pepper, and we don't want any of this from the bell pepper. This goes in the garbage. And we cut the onions into fourths. So now, we season the pan. So you're going to want to pour a good amount of olive oil into this pan. Not too much. A little more than this. And take a paper towel. You're going to want to spread it around the pan. It soaks up any of the excess. And gets it around the pan real good. Without getting your hand all over it. For this, you only want to use 2 steaks and 3 pieces of bacon. You're going to want to season the steak with the adobo. And then rub it in. Alright, now that this pan is done for now, we can move on to the vegetables. First, we're going to want a little bit of butter in the pan. I forgot to mention that we were going to use butter. And then you add your onions. Alright, before we turn the heat on, you're going to make sure that the pan handles are facing the sides. Because if you have them like this, you might walk into it and then bump your pan, which could cause it to fall onto the floor and grease everywhere. If the grease catches fire, everything's bad. But if grease does catch fire, use baking soda. Don't use water. The water will spread it. Baking soda will put it out. Anyways, we're going to set this burner to 4. And we're going to let that cook. And then this, we are also going to set to 4. Right there. That's 4. So, after the butter's melted, we're going to add some of the paprika. Ooh, I need to put the mushrooms in here as well. Trying to record myself while cooking is a lot different than just cooking. Forget some things. Okay. Now we're going to let this cook a little bit and we'll come back to it later. But don't actually leave your food. That's bad. That's how you burn your kitchen down. Alright, now that the butter's melted, we're going to start adding spices to this. Might want to stir it up a little bit, get the butter on it. We only use a little sliver of butter. Now for the paprika. You're going to want to, after you add this stuff, mix your onions. I might actually want to add a little more onion. I'm going to turn it red. I'm going to add some more onions to this. It just doesn't look like enough to me. Alright, so I added some extra onions, and I added some mushrooms too. I forgot to add those in the beginning, but it should still come out tasting the same. And now, while this cooks, we're going to wait till the onions are soft. Right now they're still very rigid. They're not soft at all. See? It's not bending at all. We're going to come back to that after that's been softened up. Ooh! Forgot to add oregano. That would have been tragic. Again, as I said earlier, trying to record yourself in cooking is a little harder than just cooking. You forget things. So I'm sorry if I am getting you all confused here. Alright, now that the steaks have been cooking for a little bit, we're going to want to flip them so we can season the other side. Come on. It's a little harder with one hand. By the way, that large bottle, they come in much smaller sizes, about the size of that oregano bottle. So you should be able to find them at Safeway or Fred Meyer's. Probably Fred Meyer's now that I think about it. I don't think I've ever seen it at Safeway. This spice is great for everything. Burgers, fish, steak, you name it. Coming along nicely. Let's see. They're starting to really, starting to soften up real good. Gotta make sure the mushrooms get cooked at least a little bit. You know, just kind of make sure they're at the bottom of the pan occasionally. The mushrooms are there so they can soak up the flavor of everything around them. By themselves, they're a little tasteless. Personally, I think they taste pretty good, regardless. But we'll come back in a little bit, after this is cooked a little bit, and we're going to be adding this to this pan in a little bit as well. Alright, so this is cooked a little more, but not by much. But I've decided that it's time to put this into the large pan. Alright, so I've added it to the pan, and if you'll notice, I kind of spread it out a little bit to kind of get the flavor in. It'll be soaking into the bacon and the other mushrooms. We're also going to want to add our bell peppers. Also spread that out. It's a little harder to pick these up with one hand. Alright, so that's going to cook with the rest of it. I should take a little bit of from this side. Alright, we'll come back to this in a bit Again, don't leave your food alone. That's how you start fires. Make sure to flip your steaks from time to time. Oh, so, Jesus. Again, one-handed cooking is hard. If you'll notice, this steak is a little pink on the side. Don't be afraid to just hold it a little like that. Because if you cook it too long, it'll become well done, and I don't think most people like their steaks well done. You usually want a little pink at the end. See, all the pink is gone from the outside. You want all the pink gone from the outside. Do it on this one too. It looks pretty okay. It's a little pink right there at the end. Okay. So now we're going to want to try to flip this bacon. I'm going to move everything off to the side, all this little stuff, and flip. We're going to want to do that with all three of them. The bacon juices are going to seep in, and steak juices are going to, whoop, I should have moved all this stuff off. All these meat juices are also going to sink into the onions, along with the stuff we cooked in that smaller pan. Oh, that's a little, just a little raw. Yeah. If you have a larger burner, that would probably be good, because it looks like this bacon, it's not cooking on the sides as fast as the ones in the middle. The one in the middle. So you might have to put the bacon for a little longer afterwards. I usually don't have to, but sometimes it happens. We're going to redistribute all this. Make sure the mushrooms all get a chance to cook. You don't really want anything on top of the steak. You want everything to soak in the flavor of each other. Alright. Well, pretty much you want to repeat what I've been doing with the steak and the bacon until everything is cooked. Remember, don't overcook these. They'll be hard to chew. And we'll come back to this when it is done. Alright, so I've taken the steak out and I put it in the pan for now, so we can cook this bacon real quick, because those steaks are done. I also turned it up to high heat. This will optimal cooking temperature for bacon. Also, make sure to turn your fan on for this part. So the bacon is done. So we're gonna put this all on a plate. Make it look nice. And next, after putting that next to each other, the bacon. Just drape it on. You don't have to do this part, this is just making it look fancy. We're gonna drape the bacon over the steaks. And then we're going to start putting all these vegetables onto the plate. I'm going to cut out so I can do this because I need both my hands. And there you have it. One delicious looking plate of steaks.